afternoon and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica. Today I'm going to be showing you guys the questionable decision that I made in the form of buying new books with my economic stimulus. Economic impact stimulus, economic impact payment, economic impact payment. I mostly spent the $1,200 on my rent for the month, but I did spend a little bit of my $1,200 on buying more books from Book Outlet. Book Outlet, I've mentioned before, it's a discount bookstore essentially online. They have a bunch of overstock books, and here on this channel we are all about low prices when we can. I have a couple of books here that I want to show you guys, and essentially to show you all the books I've purchased. I know my owned TBR is getting really long, and so I'm probably not going to purchase any more books for a while, but I did want to show off these because they just came and I'm very excited about them. So the first category of book I have is books in a series that I either want to continue or finish, books that I've heard really good things about, or like series that I enjoy that I just wanted to get around to continuing. The first of these is Fire by Kristen Cashore. I've read Graceling twice. I read it once in high school and once in college, but I never picked up the sequel because it follows completely different characters, and I was really interested in the first set of characters, and so I didn't think I'd be interested in this. But lately I've heard that it's a really good book, and even though it's not a direct sequel, it still like brings the same like level of excitement and world building that Graceling did, and so I'm definitely giving Fire a shot, and I am hopeful to read it sometime in the near future because it is though it's a thick YA book, it will go pretty quickly. A book I read in April was The Masked City, the second in the Invisible Library series, so I went ahead and picked up the third book, which is called The Burning Page. Yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. I know kind of the setup of the second book kind of leaves our characters in a bit of a constrained situation, one might say, but also kind of takes away a lot of the stability from that we kind of had going into the second book. So the premise is going to be entirely new, and I'm excited to see what new things we get to learn about the world and the characters in this book. I have the third book in the Witchland series, Blood Witch. I've read the first two books earlier this summer. Oh gosh, it's been almost a year. Okay, I read Truth Witch and Wind Witch, which is the second book, earlier this year / last year, and so I'm following up with the third book. I really like this series. It's not, I think, one of my like favorite series in the entire world, but I do really enjoy the books, and I think they're entertaining and fun, and I like the characters a lot, so I'm excited to read Blood Witch. Next are kind of a stack of books that I've heard things about that didn't come out like necessarily this year, but I've heard good things about and I wanted to check out. So the first book in that stack is Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie Dao. I really don't know much about this book other than it takes place in an Eastern Asian inspired fantasy setting, and that it's bright green. I know this sounds really dumb and reductive, but I saw a tweet where someone was asking for green books, and this book was recommended over and over again, so I figured I had to check it out, because if it's getting that many recommendations by a lot of people, it must be pretty good. Next, I have Wicked Like a Wildfire by Lana Popovic. Again, I don't know anything about this, but the cover is absolutely beautiful, and there seem to be a couple of them, and it's kind of like a witchy, like nature touched, and yeah, like a fun time for me. Then I have, this one is a newer book, but I've heard really good things about it. It's Mirage by Somaya Dowd. Pretty short, and so I've heard really good things about it, so I made sure to check it out when I saw it was on sale. Oh, I have 4 books left actually. So because I pulled it out, the next book was The Boneless Mercies. I have wanted to purchase this book for a while. It's more like high fantasy in the sense of like, I don't know, I think it's supposed to feel kind of like a high fantasy RPG just based on like the cover and the blurb. It follows some trained warriors who are set out to do tasks for their kind of like all-female guild type thing, and yeah, it follows the adventures of some badass ladies, and I'm all about that, as you know from the previous books I've picked up recently. Next, I have A Memory Called Empire by Arcady Martina. This is a space opera, which I picked up because it's the group book for my team in the Pokemon Readathon round 3. I might not get to it this month, and so I might not complete the challenge, but I did think that since it was recommended by the people who run that challenge and like specially picked out, it's got to be like relatively interesting. I'm not really well versed in space opera books, so this will be, yeah, definitely outside my comfort zone. Excited to get into like a sort of like older outside of genre book. Then I have The Ruin of Kings by Jen Lyons. Again, I've heard really, really good things about this book. It came out relatively recently, I want to say. It is an adult high fantasy following along in the kind of tropes of that genre, so like kingdoms and dragons and magic and all of this sort of stuff. But I heard it's like a surprising fast-paced plot with great characters, and so I wanted to try it out, especially because it sounds like it has a lot of things that are very similar to the stuff that I work on when I'm writing, and so that seemed like, you know, it seems like interesting source material to kind of like observe what works and what doesn't work for my own writing as well. That stack of books I got from Book Outlet. The last book is my Book of the Month book, which is Happy and You Know It by Laura Hankin. Honestly, I wasn't thrilled about this month's choices from Book of the Month because a lot of them were like historical fiction and contemporary fiction, which I'm not as into. This book is about a woman who ends up working for like to take care of some toddlers of these really, really rich women in, I think, New York, and which like is a little different from what I'm usually reading, and yeah, it just sounded like entertaining and like a really interesting like psychological novel about like what life is like for a group of people that I don't like typically hang out with or like think about very often. I mean, okay, I think about way too often, but like, yeah, people that I'm not really like, I don't really associate with in my day-to-day life. I have very few friends who are parents and like very few friends who are kind of this like rich New York housewife type character, and so yeah, it's gonna be interesting to like dive into what people are thinking. So yeah, so that is the stack of books that I have for this set of my book purchases. Again, like I mentioned, have a very long list of books at my house that I have not read, and so I need to get on reading a lot of those books before I can buy any more books, so this will probably be like the last like book haul I'll do for a while. But I wanted to share these books because I did kind of like treat myself and represent like book series that I've been really interested in, and otherwise like books that have been highly recommended by the book community. That is all I have for you today, and yeah, I will see you guys next time.